Let us now settle into a spirit of worship with a moment of quiet, to be followed by the music of The Lone Wild Bird by Cliff Harden. Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring the kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together.
Good morning. I hope you are all well. My name is Dawn Dowd. I am a member of the choir and a member of our online hospitality group, and I am here to welcome you this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester, a congregation of love, hope, and justice, inspiring people to take on the challenges of a changing world. I am one of your worship associates this morning. We begin by acknowledging that in Worcester, Massachusetts, we work, learn, live, and worship on the seized ancestral homeland of the Nipmuc people, who thrive and remain active as the Nipmuc tribe. If you would like to learn more about the Nipmuc community, please see the brochure in our foyer. We offer a special welcome to those of you who are new or visiting us for the first time this morning. We're delighted that you are here. We hope you will join us in Fellowship Hall following the service for refreshments and conversation. If you have questions or desire more information about the service or any of the ministries and programs of this congregation, please do not hesitate to ask. We invite you to fill out one of the cards found in the pews. These cards could be placed on the offering plate or given to one of the ushers or greeters this morning. For those of you joining us online, this morning, we offer you a very special welcome. For safety purposes and so that we might come to know you better, as you are able, please place your name on your video feed. Please take a moment to sign one of the attendance clipboards that are being circulated. I think some are already going on that side, and this side, our right side, will start soon. Though you are not obligated to sign, we appreciate your information and will use it only for church purposes. During the service, we offer an opportunity to share a brief personal joy or sorrow. If you would like yours to be read aloud by the minister, please print it on an index card in the pew and drop it in the collection plate when it comes around. These cards will also be posted outside the minister's office to be shared with our friends at other services. For those of you online, you can place a joy or sorrow in the chat, and we will share it during this time in the service. In the foyer, there are listening devices, large print service programs, and hymnals for those who may find their assistance beneficial. Please see one of our ushers, who will be pleased to assist you. I invite you now to turn your technology to worship mode. I'm going to make one small personal announcement. I am one of the people who helps with our online hospitality. It's currently myself and Cheryl Lachey with the assistance of our tech team, that's led, I know, by Frank. I want to take an opportunity to offer, if any of you, whether you're here in person or if you're part of our online community, we would love to increase the number of people who are assisting with this ministry. If you are interested and you're here today, I will be in Fellowship Hall. You're welcome to come and approach me to find out more about what we do. Or of course, you can approach Frank and find out more about the tech team. I know that's an area we'd love to grow more. If you're online and would like to be part of our online hospitality, please, if you're currently online, you can direct chat me. I am online too. Just send me your email address and I'll be sure to reach out to you and tell you more about the work that we do. Finally, please take a note of the announcements on the back of your program on the order of service. There will be time for short verbal announcements following the postlude. We are so glad that you are here, and we hope that this morning is an opportunity for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation.
Hi, all. I found this poem online, posted by someone I know, and someone asked, is it okay to share it? She said, sure. So I'll start and you chime in. This is a love letter to the tender evolutionaries, for those transforming the world from the inside out, written by Eileen Workman this July. To you, the tender ones, the ones who still believe in love, even when the world calls that foolish.
The ones who feel too much, too deeply, and wonder if that's a flaw. The ones who keep soft hearts and sharp-edged tongues.
I see you, I feel you, and I want you to know you are not alone.
You're not weak or trembling in the face of cruelty. You're not naive for hoping this. You're not failing because you cannot fix it all.
You are part of something ancient and emergent, a slow, deep evolution of consciousness that transcends the need for violent revolution. You are part of the sacred turning. This path is not glamorous. It's not televised. It's not rewarded by the systems that we are here to outgrow. It's internal, subtle, relational, often invisible, and yet it is real. Let the old world rage. Let it rattle. Let it cling to its illusions of power. That's what dying paradigms do.
With you, you are part of the living future. You are helping it take shape, breath by breath, soul by soul.
And I know it's exhausting to feel it all, to walk in truth without armor, to hold space for healing, while so many still choose harm. You're not here to conquer the old world, but to no longer be ruled by it.
We're not here to silence the oppressor, but to make oppression obsolete through the gentle, radical embodiment of wholeness.
So stay close to your knowing. Tend it like a sacred fire. Gather with others who can feel, hear, and remember the same music you can hear beneath the noise.
When life feels too heavy to hold, remember too, you are not doing this alone. You never were.
The field is shifting. The veil is thinning. The tender evolution is already underway. The light in me embraces the light in you.
Would you please join together in our opening hymn, number 1010, found in your teal hymnals, Rise in Body or in Spirit. 1012. Please be seated. I want to invite our basket bearers forward at this time, representatives of our religious exploration program who provide an opportunity each time we gather for worship to contribute to the ongoing ministry of the congregation's emergency fund. If you have change that you would like to share this morning as part of our Change for Change collection, please raise your hand and one of our bearers will find you quickly.
Coming of age, all stand up on the...
We want to welcome our new coming of age class.
Come on up here. All up. Come on, all up. Okay, coming of age.
Everywhere you may go. It should be instructive to all of us that our youth come and sit up front. Just saying. I intended to go to the rally yesterday. I had thought about the sign I wanted to carry, and then I didn't. I was responsible for a funeral late yesterday morning and chose to take time with the family of a beloved who was now gone. And by the time I returned, it was well into the rally, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to get within 2 miles of the place. Had I gone, I would have relished the opportunity to be in community with so many of you. How many of you went yesterday? Yeah, see, we could have had this is where we could have had an impromptu congregational meeting and solved all our problems over in the corner of Institute Park and then gone on. Huh? Oh, how many of you went to Boston? A couple, yes. There were a couple. There you go. North Adams. Leicester. Anywhere else? Fitchburg? Barry? We had the whole area well covered. Thank you very much. And surely I would have been inspired by hippo ballerinas and pink unicorns and frogs and dinosaurs and raccoons and all manner of people. In fact, I think that we have the beginning of a new squad. And my wife said, I found a very large blow-up dinosaur costume for you. And I thought, oh, yeah. I would have, Andrew would wear it. I would have taken great comfort in being surrounded by you, by so many other friends of this congregation and in this community, and the creative gist of the signs and the slogans that so many of you held. I consoled my guilt for being absent by remembering that taking the time to honor one gone in body is an act of resistance in and of itself, as were the food pantry distribution that happened in the morning and the Garden on Team event in the afternoon. Multiple modalities to consider how we're going to help and transform our world. Multiple modalities to guard against the logic of empire that says, heed my desire, do not tend to yourself. So I'm sorry that I missed the rally, and I know there will be others. And I'm so glad for those of you who went and those who found different ways to resist and to serve. This morning I want to explore for a few minutes what I believe to be the essential dynamics of this resistance. Last week I had the honor and pleasure to preach as part of the installation service of our former intern, Bo Rivers, who was installed as the 33rd minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Middleborough, Massachusetts. She was a bit perplexed when she asked for my sermon title, which I told her was, "What the Lighthouse Knows." And it began thusly. During her 1997 Barry Street lecture delivered before colleagues and friends in Phoenix, Arizona, the Reverend Judith Walker Riggs, now of blessed memory, related the following exchange from October 10, 1955, in a radio transcript from the United States Chief of Naval Operations. Station 1. Divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid collision. Station 2. Recommend you divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid collision. Station number 1. This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course. Station number 2. No. I say again, divert your course. Station 1, now aggravated beyond measure. This is an aircraft carrier, Enterprise. We are a large warship of the United States Navy. Divert your course now. Station 2, this is the Puget Sound Lighthouse. It's your call. I thought this a supreme metaphor for this moment in our country and world. A world which continues to be more energized by war than peace, a country that is becoming all too familiar with the chaos of a federal administration that thrives on cruelty and continues to court white Christian nationalists as heralds of the New World Order. What is striking to me about this exchange is the difference in tone that I hear between these two stations. With all of the bluster and increasing volume of a warship in conversation with a calm, confident other that turns out to be an historic beacon built on solid rock, which has weathered more storms and the fogs of confusion than the ship and its crew could ever imagine. Furthermore, while the ship demands obedience and conformity to what it demands based on its own inaccurate reading of the environment, the lighthouse crew matter-of-factly speaks truth, offering the opportunity to heed its warning, or not. Rather than projecting an attitude of superiority, the lighthouse simply announces its presence, and in doing so communicates one small statement, the crux of the matter. It's your call. Makes me think of a stanza in Eileen Workman's poem, which I'm so grateful that Maura Pentlarge brought to us this morning. Every time you choose presence over projection, curiosity over judgment, compassion over vengeance, you are participating in the only revolution that has ever actually worked, the one that begins inside the human heart. Of late, I've come to appreciate more and more the contributions of Reverend Cameron Trimble to our public discourse on the changes and challenges happening between religion and faith communities in our country. Her words have often spoken to me during these dark times, and much like Eileen Workman, she points to this revolutionary moment of human awakening. There's a reason, she says, why so many of us feel disoriented. Not just because of what's happening around us, but because of what is happening to us. We are being conditioned to shut down. Slowly, steadily, and almost imperceptibly. The barrage of cruelty, confusion, spectacle, and spin has a cumulative effect. It wears on our capacity to feel and to care, to respond with presence rather than reflex. We are being trained through repetition to expect harm and then to normalize it. I had a conversation this morning with one of our own who had an experience yesterday at the rally that surprised her when she looked upon strangers dressed as ministers but had a moment of fear because they looked like they were going to do something other than what the protest was demanding. And she's not alone. All of us have those moments. I call it the hypervigilance of being in a traumatic era. We are taught that everything is a potential danger. But that is not how we should continue to exist. Cameron Trimble continues, that is the danger of this moment. Not just political collapse or climate unraveling or in the erosion of public trust, but the numbing of our souls. To resist this tendency, Trimble argues, is to turn to tenderness. Tenderness, she writes, then is not a weakness, it is resistance in its most radiant form. It's how we stay soft without surrendering. It's how we walk through the world with eyes open and our hearts intact. As my friend and colleague, Reverend Tracy Blockman, reminds us, prophetic resistance is only possible for those who still dream. You must be able to dream, to see justice in the midst of it all. Tenderness is the soil of that dreaming, says Cameron. It is the part of us that refuses to be numbed by cruelty or conforming to despair. When we reach for one another with care, when we peacefully protest, offer a gentle word, hold silence with someone in pain or in grief, we resist the empire's logic of separation. We bear witness to the deeper truth that love, in its fiercest form, often shows up as gentleness. Now I understand more than ever the importance of picked unicorns and fabulous frogs and hippos and tutus at protests and rallies and marches. These are some of the visible metaphors for tenderness in the midst of a company that could and has become consumed by its own rage and hurt. Pema Chodron, the Buddhist abbess and teacher, once reminded her readers that the word for loving kindness in Sanskrit is maitri. Maitri is also translated as unconditional friendliness. Next time you see one of our beloved creatures at a protest, remember they're there for a reason, and that reason is to remind us not to be consumed. Which is why I thought it important to post the words of Laura Jean Truman on my Facebook page this week. She writes in the form of a prayer, "Keep my anger from becoming meanness. Keep my sorrow from collapsing into self-pity. Keep my heart soft enough to keep breaking. Keep my anger turned toward justice, not cruelty. Remind me that all of this, every bit of it, is for love. Keep me fiercely kind. The theological foundation of fierce kindness might best be understood as awakening to mutuality. And here I have the work of our Soul Matters team, who provide us with so many resources every month. Their words seem particularly apropos. Mutuality, they note, is the spiritual practice of honoring interdependence, recognizing that compassion is not something we offer from above, but something we live within. In Unitarian Universalist theology, mutuality pushes against hierarchies of giver and receiver, teacher and learner, saved and sinner. It asks us to show up with humility, to listen as much as we speak, and to let ourselves be changed by our relationships. Compassion becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a way of being together in that acknowledges we are all sometimes in need and all sometimes able to help. In pastoral care, justice work, and spiritual community, mutuality helps us resist saviorism and control. It roots compassion in dignity and respect, inviting us to remember that we do not fix one another. We accompany one another. Mutuality turns compassion into relationship, and relationship into transformation. In the coming months and years, there will surely be more challenges, more marches, and yes, more demonstrations. And Lord, I hope our fluffy friends show up. And while our presence, you and I, will be called upon again to witness to the possibility of beloved community in the face of all that divides and subjugates us, let us remember that passion is best articulated as compassion, and that we are more a lighthouse than a warship, and that we have the capacity to be always fiercely kind. Amen, and blessed be. I would say to you, do you want to hear some good news? Yes. You already heard it. Yesterday was a tremendously powerful day in this place. Once again, our food pantry team served our community. The place was packed, which tells us something about the current state of things. I wish it weren't so packed. And I am so grateful to those of you who continue to be present in order that we might serve what is continuing to be and will likely increase in need. Again, I am so grateful to those of you who showed up in all of your glory to the protest downtown, and I am equally grateful to those of you who were here in order to help our community realize the capacity they have to transform their environment and to take part in what I think is a continuing awakening to the possibility that with some effort and with some insight and with some examples of how we do this, we might in fact turn the world around. So that, my friends, is good news, and I'm so glad to share it with you. And so it is in service to that good news and so many other good things that go on in this place that we offer each other an opportunity to participate in an offering that serves the mission and ministries of this congregation in an ongoing fashion. So I invite you to reach into the pocket of the people in front of you and pull out their checkbook or their wallet, make the donation you've always wanted to make here, right? If you'd like to participate with digitally in our offertory this morning, you're welcome to text 508-231-5335 and following the instructions on the screen. I'm also so very honored to have Jagannath Khalsa with us once again, and our friend who is playing the tabla this morning. I don't see him right now, but ni hao. They'll be back in a moment. So we welcome you, and we are so honored with your presence. This time the morning offering will be received. We come once again to that time in our service when we're given pause to consider what is deepest in our hearts or most profoundly on our minds, or in the work of our hands in the days that have transpired, or in the prospect of days to come. Joys and sorrows that touch us deeply and are given another measure of meaning because of our capacity to share them in the company that claims us as a co-journeyer. So I invite those of you who have joys or sorrows this day to come forward and form lines on both sides of the sanctuary, to come and speak briefly into the microphone, telling us first who you are, so that those using our auditory enhancement devices or joining us online can also participate in this important part of our service. And then light a candle if you so desire. For those of you who are online, let me just simply remind you, we welcome you placing a joy or sorrow in the chat, which will also be shared during this time in the service. Are there joys or sorrows to be shared this day?
So my name is Shirley Trait. On Thursday evening, I went to dinner with a friend in Worcester. I live in Shrewsbury. When I got home, I heard a meow. Now, that's not unusual because there are 2 cats that frequent my yard, and I looked around, I didn't see the cat, so I went inside the house. The next day, I went to the Y in the morning, and I did some more errands in the morning, and in the afternoon, I came home, worked on my No King sign, and then went out to do errands. Ended up in White City in Shrewsbury, and heard the meow again, and I go, okay. So I opened up the engine compartment of my car, meow, couldn't see it. Went to Petco, but I had to pick up something there. I've got a cat in my car. He says, well, we can't really help you, whatever. And I was like, I'm freaking, and I go, oh yeah, I should call the police, the animal control. So I ended up in Shrewsbury Animal Control. They couldn't see it either. Animal Control and I ended up down in Rand's, down on 140 in Shrewsbury. They put the car in the lift, couldn't see it. Eventually, we had it down, and it took me and the mechanic and the animal control officer. I reached in, I've got scrapes of my, reached in, was able to see the cat, brought the cat out. It was an 8-week-old female kitten who now is in Bay Path at a foster. The amazing thing about this cat is that she survived me going probably 70 miles an hour back from a restaurant in Worcester on 270 all the way through Shrewsbury, and all the errands and things. And so she was really, so that's the joy, is that this little kitty survived and will seem to be in good shape. And it was quite a shall we say, exciting and stressful experience. But I'm glad for the kitty. Thank you.
Catastrophe averted.
Seems to be, at least in Mazda CX-30s, there seems to be a hole or something that it can go up sort of by the front wheel well or whatever, and somehow this cat got in there, and I go, oh my God, is this going to happen again? But whatever, let's just hope that that doesn't happen again. But anyway, yeah, that's it.
Good morning. My name is Pauline Corshane. I have been the shoebox lady for 20 years about. And 2 years ago was the last year we were going to be serving ACE. The shoeboxes, for those of you who are new, were just a term that we used because it was no longer shoeboxes. They had grown to bigger boxes. When we gave gifts to children, and 2 years ago was our last year with ACE, the African Community Education. It had grown so much that we couldn't provide for 100 kids. We could provide for about 30. And so we dropped ACE, and we dropped it sadly, and I knew at the time that they had grown so well that they had funding from big companies, including a bank in Worcester. So they were okay. They got decorations for their hall, and they got gifts, so they were fine. This year they may need coats, but that's another story. Last year we went with a little art community. There were about 20 children, and it turns out that it was not a good fit. And so I'm wondering if anyone knows of any place locally where we could provide gifts for children around the holidays. If you do know, could you write it on one of the cards in the pew and give that to me in Fellowship Hall? Because I'd like to continue. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jana Cutman. Little background, everybody that knows me knows that my middle name is intense and logical. But I have a brother who is neither of those things. He's sort of the Bible-thumping religious type. So I wrote to him yesterday and told him I was going to be protesting, and we started a dialogue back and forth, mostly me. And he wants us to pray about it. So because he's a Bible thumper, I sent him a photo of a sign that I saw at the last rally, which says, When a foreigner resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. That's Leviticus 19:33, in case you want to quote that. But he then wrote to me and said, yesterday, did you fan the fire or help solve the problem? Well, he opened up the door, and this is what I wrote back. Except my phone is being weird now. Okay. I wrote, it was extremely peaceful, hopefully supporting legislators that need to know there are millions of us that are aware of the slippery slide toward authoritarianism is frightening. We want civility, fairness, listening to medical professionals, compassion, due process for all, the constitutionality of guaranteed freedom of speech, democracy, health care for all, religious freedom, so long as the freedom doesn't infringe on the rights of others, environmental protections, common sense. We are more than fed up with the threats of withholding federal funds from research. We do not want to see using our military against civilians. We want ICE to cease their violence, remove their masks, ID themselves, and if someone is detained, treat them as human beings. We want the attitude of retribution to stop. We can see that a few millionaires are driving the bus for their benefit and not ours. We want the lies and the insults to stop. The list goes on and on. We used to believe we had these things. How many of these things do you want, too? Perhaps those elected to represent all will start to see they need to stand up and keep that one man in check. And if they do, the masses will back them. Oh, and he's showing significant signs of dementia, which is more than scary as he has unchecked power and seems to think he can do whatever he pleases. I don't know if I made sense to him or not, but that's what I'm thinking.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy Nagy, Handbell Choir Director, and I'm not going to say anything about the Handbell Choir. I want to share with you, I wasn't able to make the protest yesterday. I work 5 days a week with Alzheimer and dementia seniors as a group of about a dozen that really count on me to raise their spirits, keep them active, and keep them laughing. Like Friday, we went to the top of Mount Wachusett. The colors, oh my. I was on beauty overload. I had brought my horn with me, so I pulled it out and I played an Ave Maria. Got applause from all around. And that is what soothes my soul. So I just want to thank you all for being there, for being the beautiful, multidimensional, divine, new humans on the new earth. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Michael. For some of you guys know, my mom died last year in June. Her birthday's tomorrow, so it's hard for my family, and I've been cleaning out her storage unit. I'm gonna light a candle for my dad. He's going to start treatment for bone cancer. So yeah, I'm gonna be there with my dad for a while, you know, helping him out. Also, Aaron's amazing. He's helped me through a lot when my mom passed, and as well. So also, I have a antique trombone that I want to give to a family or the church. That was my grandfather's. If anybody's interested, I don't want to just donate it to somebody I don't know, or you know, I want to donate it to somebody from the church or to the church. If you know how to play, just let me know. Y'all have a good one.
I'm Lynn Swain, and I moved to Worcester about a year and a half ago. And I just wanted to share the last 3 days of joy of being in community. I work at the American Antiquarian Society, and we had our annual members meeting on Friday. We had close to 100 people there compared to years ago where they would be lucky to get 20. And that intellectual and social justice community was inspiring to me. The next day I went to the rally, and today I'm here. And I feel like I've been able to build in Worcester in a short period of time more friendship and more connection and more support, and to be able to give that back to people as well as one of the organizers of that annual event at my job. So I just wanted to be grateful to be able to be here and have this joy of finding community.
Hi, I'm Sherry. So Friendly House had a open house in their new shelter at 91 June Street on Wednesday. And I didn't go. Thursday, I got an email from one of my past board members who did go. Pictures of how the place looks. Sparkling new floors, shiny new cabinets. Gray, white, plastic. Gone were the butterscotch colors of bedrooms and blue walls of living rooms. Posters with children's artwork pinned to it. And I had a good cry. No families have moved in yet. We don't know when that's going to happen. But I have to hold in my heart that those families are going to get somewhere to stay, if not a home, like IHN was.
Hi, I'm Raina. A couple weeks ago I spoke, this is a joy, I spoke about a group that I'm starting up here during the week for LGBTQIA2S families. And I've been trying to do this for a little bit now, and my joy is that I'm really excited that it's starting finally this week, with thanks to the support of Aaron and the community here. We're going to be able to provide a space for families to come that's safe and welcoming, where they connect and get community. That being said, it's still kind of slow going, and so if anyone has interest and would like to participate, for safety reasons, we're not announcing like day and location and time, but we definitely can get that to anybody who's interested. There's a Facebook group, and so if anyone's interested, they can either see me at coffee hour or reach out to anyone, Aaron or someone in the office, and they can get you the information. I'd love for people to kind of spread, it's word of mouth, we're trying to do this in a safe way, but I'm very, very grateful we can finally start, so thank you.
My name's Ed Robinson. I want to thank Aaron for his sermon today. It hit home for this week at work, and he is right. Keep your heart soft. Do kindness, because not all tyrants are in Washington, D.C. Sometimes they just work with you.
Hi, my name's Maura, and I just wanted to share two events that bookended what felt like a pretty ordinary week, although maybe it was more extraordinary since we've got a lot of sharing going on here. It felt like an ordinary week, work and family and cooking, and I began the week on Monday evening at a lecture by Lech Walesa, Polish solidarity hero, and somebody who influenced the change to Eastern Europe a long time ago, and he speaks to share his ideas, and it was called A Conversation with Lech Walesa, and I was, you know, it was just an event. It's a lecture in a hall. He kind of handled it very casually, and his biggest message was go, run for office, do things. You don't like what you see. It can't be on the older people to do it. He had some very good lines, ideas. Well, they were in Polish and then translated for us. But it was really inspiring and heartwarming, and I attended with a couple Polish friends, and that was Monday evening. And then the week just played out like a regular average every day, go to work week. And then yesterday, I was busy going to visit my younger of two children at college, who's now in his third year of college. And he's absolutely thriving. And my older child at one point said, you know, it just dawned on me, seeing all these things you're working on, you're really an architect now, aren't you? I mean, it was so inspiring and so moving to have one child say to the other, hey, good thing, good, well done.
Hi, it's me again. I'm Dawn Dowd. This is just a joy for me. For anyone who didn't know, I was the hippo ballerina, and I enjoyed it so much because I had a hard week and a lot of fear, and being able to do that reminded me of what I am trying to ground myself in, which is joy is resistance. And I got to not only share that there, but I had a birthday dinner for my niece last night, and it's one of the first dinners we've had as a family since my mom passed. And we finished dinner, and usually I just go home. And my brother looked. He said, "Are you going home?" I said, "Well, I was thinking about it." And he said, "Well, we're all here. Why don't we play Uno?" So we played Uno, No Mercy, and we took no mercy on each other, and it was fantastic and joyful. So that's all.
Good morning, I'm Mary. Last weekend, I went to my high school reunion, and it's still very surreal for me to say it's been 50 years since I graduated. It was pretty unreal. My high school was huge. My graduating class had 890 kids in it. Yeah, it was monstrous. This was Newton North. There were about 150 of us there. The very bittersweet piece is there's about 100 of us who are no longer here, which is like, no, this couldn't actually be going on. I mean, we just graduated last year. How can 100 of us be gone? But I had an amazing time reconnecting with some people, and in the process of talking to some of them, I realized that my journey here started then. And just the people I knew and the intellectual quest for everything from us was just unreal. And you know something? A lot of us haven't changed one bloody bit as far as that, and doing an awful lot of good trouble in a lot of places.
I simply want to add to our time of remembering the name of Milton Kerr, a beloved brother and father and husband and uncle and friend, married to Ann Stamm, who some of you know in the community. Milton died a couple weeks ago, and we were able to celebrate his life yesterday at Mercadante Funeral Home, surrounded by family and friends, and so I'm mindful of his spirit in this place this morning. Let us be in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, source of our inner and outermost being, help us this day to remember our capacity to serve, to find those who are hidden away in small places as the world moves faster and faster around them. Help us find ways to serve when ways are not clear. Remind us to speak truth whenever possible. Let us remember to play to the beauty of nature, even as we honor the anniversaries that come to us through season or memory. Give us gratitude for all of this, even in the midst of our tremendous grief. That while we can, we will rebuild our world. Help us bring joy to our resistance, so the world may remember its ability to care. Amen, and blessed be.
So as people come for this choral anthem, I want to warn you that you guys have a part of this. Out in the hallway there was a part C, music. How many of you have that? Okay, good, good. So you'll sing when we tell you to sing, okay? It'll be 3 times in this. And I'll just say that we have this piece that we're singing starts off in a certain sense from an experience that I had in India when I traveled there. And there's a place in Varanasi where supposedly Shiva's hair came to earth and created the Ganges River. And in this moment, when we hear about atmospheric rivers, and it's interesting that atmospheric rivers can hold the equivalent of all the water in the Mississippi River at a time. So this idea of a particular place where something started is an interesting idea. And every night there is a celebration where thousands of people come together and celebrate Shiva's coming to earth, if you will, in the Ganges. And there are lights and all kinds of things on the banks, and in the water there are floating lamps that you see floating down the Ganges, and it's kind of an amazing thing. We are pleased to have Jagannath with us, and playing the violin, and Nihal, who is 10 years old, and we are delighted to have Nihal here playing the tabla to give us kind of that idea of being in India. In Benares there's a spot where Shiva's hair fell to earth, forming the sacred waters of the Ganges. And each night, multitudes unite on the river and its banks to reenact this birth. And I know it's a story that you might not believe, a story that you might not believe. But in this plot, the sacred waters are the source of life itself, a gift from above. And so it is in every time, ancient tale renewed, of seed planted deep within. Gifts from above we discover within us, they light our way, they light the path for others. Deep within us, we sky, source of all light, cycle of cloud, rain, river, and sea. Unlikely convergence of the right stuff gave rise to life itself, this life that we live. Fed from above the sun's urgent rays, bringing to life great patterns and storm, and thus we might say the source of life on comes from above. One more time. Just that last part.
Our benediction this day comes again from Reverend Cameron Tremble. Spirit of breath, when the world numbs, soften us. Melt the armor we've built around our own tenderness. Guard us not with distance, but with discernment. Help us feel deeply without drowning. Let us carry pain without being consumed by it. Let us keep loving without illusion. May our hearts of flesh remain responsive, vulnerable, and true. Amen. Before we begin our postlude today, I want to invite if there are any quick announcements. Two? No, come up front so the people online can take part.
Said I promised to be quick. Last week, if you're interested in ordering UUCW t-shirts, a bunch of us wore them yesterday, and it was kind of exciting to have that kind of presence. So this is one of them. The back can look a couple different ways. There's a QR code down the hallway. You can grab it there or see me.
A reminder that coming on Saturday night is Peter Mayer. And we're about to hear Blue Boat Home, which is one of the pieces by Peter Mayer. He's coming here in this place. We would love for you all to be here. It should be a lovely, lovely night. We need a certain number to break even. So if you know, if you can come, we would really love to see you. And I'll be, I think,
Yes, I'll set it up so that if you want to buy your tickets, you can see Matt during fellowship hour.
Great. And again, I wanted to just say thank you again to Nihal and Kevin.
Hi, Susan Grosley, and I just want to say I have taken upon myself to pass petitions for rent control stabilization to help meet the incredible housing shortage that we have. So I do have some petitions back in Fellowship Hall. If you're interested, please come see me and sign for housing. Okay, thanks.
Sweet.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm here on behalf of Side with Love. This was in the message, but there's a lot in the message, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody saw this. We're going to be starting an activist reading group starting next month. The first thing we're reading is Democracy in Retrograde. So we're going to meet November 16th is the first one. We're going to read the first half of the book up to page 121. Again, this is all in the message. And we hope that you will join us. You can come if you haven't finished the reading. You can come if you don't agree with the reading. Respectful discussion is always welcome. And if you have any other ideas for reading, feel free to let us know.
I never have any ideas for reading. Never, ever have any ideas for reading. As we move into our postlude, those of you who need to receive your children or who want to make exit to Fellowship Hall for Fellowship Hour, I invite you to do so quietly so that those who would like to sit and be with Matt and this music have an opportunity to do so. This time our postlude will be offered. Once again, beloved, our worship in this place has ended, but our service continues next with an opportunity for refreshment and conversation. And we are going to bid those who are going to be part of the crop walk today that they go safely and with care.